Hey, everybody, I'm here with Gareth, and I'm not sure exactly where he came from today because he's doing a lot of traveling. Originally from what, Northern Ireland?
Yeah, Northern Ireland.
And but you've been doing a bunch of time in. It sounds like you're a criminal. You're doing a bunch of time in Nashville, but doing a lot of touring too, out to Boston, the East Coast, and the rest of it. So, welcome to Wisconsin. Is this your first time in
This is
Wisconsin?
actually my third time.
Well, your
it
third
is.
time. Have you been to a Packer game since you're wearing a hat?
I'm actually going to a Packers game this January, so
That's fantastic. It won't be the Super Bowl, I hope. I'm not a Packer fan. Why are you a Packer fan?
I mean, I like wearing the gear, and I just happen to have a lot of Packers stuff. So
But why do you have a lot? Who gave you Packer stuff?
I think it's because I've been here before.
Okay.
Like, I mean, my dad's a Bears fan because he went to Chicago
So
when he was a
I'm
kid.
a Bears fan, yeah.
So he's a Bears fan because he was there as a kid.
Yep.
And I like just traveling here. I just like the colors, and
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of my videos that I've wore this hat in has just went crazy viral, and like everyone's like this. There's so many Green Bay Packers
Oh,
fans. that
they're
follow me
all
now.
over the world. They're literally all over the world. So I'm sure they're happy they've got you as a fan. So tell me a little bit about how Northern Ireland turned you into a country artist.
I mean, back home, there's like countries everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I think Northern Ireland. I like country before it wasn't cool to like country. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 24 now, and back when I was 14, I just went down a rabbit hole of country music. So what I did, like the first thing I ever listened to was a Hunter Hayes song.
Okay.
And then I just went deep into the Spotify playlist and just went from there. And then Luke Combs came on the scene, Morgan Wallen, and then just kept going from there and just fell in love with it.
And when did you start thinking that this was a career path for you? I mean, did you love to play guitar? You know, did you feel comfortable singing? Did you start singing in school, and then you started doing in your room, just singing along with the songs that you're playing?
Yeah, I mean, when I was 9, I entered like a small talent competition in my school.
Okay.
And like I didn't know myself I could even sing. I just went for fun. They were doing auditions, and my mum and dad didn't know I could sing. So I came home and told them that I auditioned for this show, and they were kind of like skeptical at first. They're like,
Sure.
What do you mean? But I got through that stage to the final shows, and I actually ended up winning it. So I did. I won the talent show, and then my teacher at the time, that was at the high school, we call it the music teacher, and he just says to me, you should go for singing lessons and guitar lessons. And I tried the guitar first, but I just couldn't pick it up. I just couldn't learn it.
Yeah.
And then I gave it 2-3 years, and I came back at it again. Then it just came natural to me. And he just taught me since I was a kid how to sing, play guitar. And then this past few years, I've been doing so many more shows where I just play acoustically.
Yeah.
So it's improved my skills that way. But since I was 14, I started playing bars back in Ireland. So I did, and I kind of had that experience. Now going into some of these shows, I'm playing my own headline shows. Because before I was just playing in bars, no one
Cover
really,
songs,
yeah,
just
cover
keeping
songs,
the energy going.
and
Yeah.
no one really listening to you. Like, well, you might find the odd person that listens, but
You're basically a live jukebox
yeah,
at that
you're
point.
basically
Yeah.
background music.
Yeah.
So it is, and I mean, I had my first headline shows this July, and we sold them all out, and I couldn't believe the difference from playing your own shows to playing in bars. And I was playing bars up until January this year, so I was, and then I dropped the cover stick season, and that changed everything.
No doubt. I mean, I think now tell me the reality of when did you start to have some of those viral moments on social media? Was it you that started doing it yourself? Have a friend filming you, or were you setting a phone up? And what was the first thing that all of a sudden happened that just made things start to go, oh crap, I might be onto something here?
Well, I mean, this year was like the real breakout year, but I started TikTok back in 2021, and the first major blow up video that I ever had was "How to Save a Life" by The Fray.
Okay.
And that was back in the first year I started. But all the videos for the first 2.5 years starting TikTok, I just recorded videos in my room. I had a wee tiny tripod that I set on the table and just played. I recorded on my computer the audio and then just put it together in a video. And that one got 100,000 likes, which, I mean, I live in a town of 2,000 people.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That's 50 times my population.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And but the real breakout was this year. I sat in December of last year, and I was like, I wanted to put out a cover of a song, and I wanted to just do different videos. So that every single video, if you scroll down my page, was all the same room, the same background. Nothing was, everything was the same. And I said I wanted to record different videos and bring out a cover, and I wanted to do Stick Season. So the person that recorded that video was actually my younger brother.
Yeah.
And I bought this big long tripod, and we went to like a forest place with
Yeah.
a waterfall.
I know the video. I
Yeah.
mean, that's where I saw you first. It was odd because when you ended up meeting and working with Chris Rudiger, I had already been watching you, and I'm like, how in the heck did that whole connection, just like in that small world, for a guy that's from Ireland, it was super cool for me to see that happen, because I was happy for you, because I must have watched that video like literally over and over again, and I had no idea your backstory, what were you doing, but it just popped off and went crazy.
I mean, I'm like so down on myself, and like I always think the worst is going to happen. And like my brother recorded the video for me, and back then I had 3,000 followers on Instagram, and because I never posted videos on Instagram, I was doing TikTok, as I said, for 2.5 years for that, and I never posted on Instagram Reels and stuff. I never took advantage of that until this year. And out in the forest, he recorded the video for me, because the audio was like, everything was like, that Stick Season cover was all done by me just in my bedroom, and I says, come out and record this video for me, and I'll just post it. And I mean, didn't think nothing of it, and I posted it on TikTok and Instagram the same day, and overnight it just went crazy, and it's now accumulated like 15 million views. It's insane. So it was, and the cover is now like the most streamed version of that song on Spotify.
Yeah,
so it is. And
it's insane. I mean, and at that point, did you start to think about what a music career would look like and feel like? Because that's still a cover song, right? When did some original music for you actually start coming into your music? Like, how long ago were you writing music? Have you always written your own, or has it been like co-writes? What's that been like for you?
So far, it's all been co-writes, and the Stick Season cover literally got me into rooms with unbelievable writers. I didn't start writing songs until March.
Yep.
And I came along, Chris, my manager, I think he contacted me just before Stick Season was about to drop.
Yep.
So it was back in January, and we hopped on a few calls back and forth, and after that we started getting like different like labels that wanting to like get me in rooms with writers, because they know I didn't have any songs,
Right.
like original songs. And then my first session was back mid-March, and the first ever song that I wrote was Changing Seasons, and it's the one that I've dropped recently.
Yep.
So it is. And the EP that I recently dropped, the 5 songs, I would say out of 10 songs wrote, then 5 were picked, so it was very quick to get those 5 songs.
Right.
And the 5 songs are really just telling my story, like an introductory EP, just a little background about myself. And if it wasn't for that Stick Season cover, I probably wouldn't, I know it's a cover, but I probably wouldn't have done the stuff that I've done this year already.
Right. I mean, anytime that you've got an energy behind you, and then to be able to team up with the right people to kind of give you a little bit of a roadmap and some encouragement to like make it happen. Because coming from Ireland, everything that you did with those recordings and the original songs and those songwrites all happened in Nashville, right?
Well, actually, the first sessions happened in London.
Okay.
So it is, because London's about an hour flight from Belfast.
Okay.
Which is my nearest airport, and the first few writes were in London, but the first ever original that I dropped, What You Don't Know, it was wrote in April in Nashville. So there was a group of 6 of us. So there was, the funny thing about that song was I'll always remember my dad was sad, because my dad came on that trip with me, because we were originally going to Nashville first as a holiday.
Sure.
I booked that before the new year, before anything blew up.
Right.
Because Dad never been to Nashville, and I wanted to take him over for
So
Christmas,
it
for
was,
a Christmas present. And we originally were supposed to go for 1 week, just as a holiday, and then we stayed 2 weeks, because I never met Chris until April.
Yeah.
And that trip was a perfect, just the perfect timing. So it was, and I literally, the whole week I was there, I was just writing songs, and Dad was there, just opposite me, drinking like Bud Lights. So I was just chilling. He was just loving it. That we were writing a song. The first ever song I wrote in Nashville, and I never like knew the process of writing songs until March, and the demo situation and the recording vocals. So I recorded my vocals that day in the room with them for What You Don't Know. It took 5 minutes, because we were currently going to a Topgolf.
Sure.
I'd never been to Topgolf in my life.
Yeah.
And we had Topgolf booked for that night. So we did, and we were running late. So I said, right, let's get this vocal done very fast. Took 5 minutes in, and that vocal is the final vocal.
That's amazing.
So it is.
Yeah. Sometimes when you're on a time crunch, you're not thinking too much about it.
I know.
It's some of the best stuff that comes out.
I don't think anyone knows that vocal was.
Well, they do now.
It was a 5-minute demo vocal originally, until we heard the demo back, and we're like, no, that vocal isn't probably going to get any better. So it
awesome.
isn't. So we just kept it, and that was the easiest vocal tracking for a song that I've done now so far.
Good for you. So what are some of the things that are next for you? Are you focusing on your 2025 like new music and a full length album, just some song releases, or what's like tour season look like as far as shows where people can like connect with you and see you out there?
Yeah, I don't know if I can announce the tour situation yet for next year, but I know this month coming now, next month November, we're actually we're playing a run of shows with 502s, like a folk band from Florida, and they're playing Germany, Amsterdam, all these places I've never even been to.
Yep.
So we're on that tour as a support act run. But next season's definitely next year's definitely going to be stacked. So
That's
it is.
awesome.
We already have shows like no setup, and like so much more music coming.
That's awesome. How difficult is it still being like home is still Northern Ireland?
For now, yeah.
So how are you working as far as how long are you coming into Nashville? How does the tours work? As far as how easy is it to not be a U.S. resident touring in the U.S.? Like, what are some of the things that you're having to navigate through? Has it been tough?
Yeah, our biggest issue was like the visa because it's different. But we just literally got our visa last week.
Good for you.
It took half a year probably to get it.
Yeah.
But we finally got it, and now I'm free to play shows, and it's a 3-year visa, so it's like I'm set now.
Yep.
And as I say, I just played my first headline show last week in Boston. We had over 100 people there, which to think 7 months or 8-9 months ago I was playing in bars, no one listened to me. They come over and even played 100 people across the world. It's crazy.
Well, in 100 people that actually give a shit about your music, I mean, it could be 10 people, and it's pretty cool to just have people when you're looking out there and they're looking at you as an artist that they are truly there to see. That's a whole different game.
I mean, I never thought that I would. I've always been to concerts. Like I've been a big concert goer since I started getting into country music. Because mum and dad never went to concerts, and I took them to all these concerts that I wanted to go to. And I always heard everyone singing back their songs. Like I always says, how good would it feel for an artist, for like the crowd to sing back your songs? And my first experience of that was in Belfast back in July. My first ever headline run, and we had 300 people in there.
That's awesome.
And what you don't know was the only original back then they had released. Before that, it was all covers.
Yep.
And what you don't know was the last song of the set. And from the first note, everyone was like so loud singing it, and I just couldn't believe it because the song only dropped a month too.
So when you're out touring in Europe and in that whole area, are you finding that there is a faster connection of people knowing who you are there versus the U.S., or is the U.S. starting to be kind of a hub because of TikTok and all the rest of it? What's that feel like?
Well, I mean, my biggest listenership is in the States.
Yep.
On TikTok, Instagram, Spotify, Apple, everything. It's like very heavily stateside, but the States is so big compared to obviously back
there's
home.
a lot of sprawl,
So it's easier to sell out shows at the minute back home.
Yep.
Because it's such a smaller kind of audience.
Yep.
And such a smaller place. But you know, the US is definitely. Hopefully, even next year we can come here and sell out shows next year.
Well, and you're such a nice guy.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
It's like you come across as just somebody that is really approachable, somebody that you just want to talk to, get to know, just like I'm doing right now. And like this is the first time we've ever talked or met at all. And you're so easy to talk to, so interesting. You've got such a journey, and I feel as though you've got so much more to share about your story that you've been in such a whirlwind. I don't know if you've really thought that deep into your entire story of how this is even happening, because you're really just kind of doing it as it's coming to you. And I'm excited to see what 2025 is going to be, because I think you're going to pack some places.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I mean, some of the stuff that I'm just going to say already, some of the stuff we have next year is like even just furthers my story, and we have one song we're sitting on at the minute, and it's like I think it's the best song that I have, and it really explains my background. So I just can't wait to share that one. So I'm not going to say what it is right now, but people will know soon.
That's awesome. So as you kind of think about shows that you're out there playing, or just iconic venues, what are some of the goals, the dreams, just like, boy, someday I hope I can play that, or I would love to open for this artist? What are some of the things that just pop into your head when nobody else is talking to you?
Well, I mean, my pinned post on Instagram was when I first came to Nashville in 2022, and it was the Grand Ole Opry. Me and Mum came as just a tourist, as a holiday, and we went to an opera show, and we done the whole experience the tour and everything. And then at the tour, I just got a photo right in the middle of the circle. Just mum took a photo of me, and I was like, that's pinned on my Instagram still to this day. It's over 2 years now, and that's if I get to play the Opry, that's like I feel like I made it moment.
Yeah.
My granddad's a really big fan of the Opry videos. He sits at the house back in Ireland every night just watching videos from artists from like years ago. He likes playing the Opry, and I says if I ever play the Opry, he's getting flew over to come watch me.
Well, I'm
So
going to fly over and watch it too.
But yeah, that's the Opry. But I'm back in June. I was here for a full month in Nashville, and I was writing songs, and that's the longest I've ever been away from home. And I actually flew my parents over for the last week. I was there for their anniversary, and we got a call from the guys from AJ McLean from Backstreet Boys and Joey Fatone from NSYNC, and they were saying, "Do you want to hop on the Ryman with us?" And sing, because they do a segment where they play covers on a dice, and if a dice rolls on a certain number, it's a certain cover. And one of them was Friends in Low Places, Gareth Brooks, and they says, when the dice lands on that number, do you want to join us on stage and play it? So back in June, my mum and dad was in town, and we got the call, and we came to play the Ryman.
That's amazing.
And
So how are you getting so connected to some of these bigger artists and some of that? I mean, what has that taken? Is that crazy for you to even think?
I think it's I don't know. I think it's all just down to luck. I mean, the What You Don't Know song was basically maybe self-doubting myself.
Yeah.
And I still feel like that to this day. I feel like it's something that'll always stick with me. I think coming from such a small place, you learn to be very humble about things and just try and never get too big in your, too big for your boots, basically.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for you, man, just keep being exactly who you are right now. And that's an easy thing to say, but I don't think just getting to know you right now, I see you being the same person 15 years from now. We could sit down and have this talk again. We're going to talk more about cool stuff that's happened, but I don't think you're going to be a different person, and that's what's really cool about it.
No, of course not. I mean, that's one thing my mum has always told me, just don't forget to come down when you get too high.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I can't thank you enough for making the trip out to Wisconsin here, and you're wearing the right hat. But to be here at Interstate Music, hopefully you enjoy your time. You're going to have some fans here that are actually going to be paying attention to you and listening to you. So hope you enjoy it, and we'll also see you in Nashville.
You will.
Good stuff. Everybody, this is Gareth. Pay attention to what this guy's doing if you're not already paying attention. But he's got some cool stuff that's coming. So thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.